I just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to EA Creator Network for allowing me the opportunity to bring this brand new Season 22 Early Access gameplay to you guys, to break it all down and to show you what's coming in Season 22 of Apex Legends. So big shout out, big ups to EA, and thank you for the opportunity. All right, so I'm going to be 100% honest. The Season 21 weapon meta might be one of the weirdest weapon metas we've ever seen in the entire history of the game. Usually we see something like a really long range weapon and a really close range weapon dominating the meta, i.e. when it was R9 30-30 repeater, or even back in the day when it was G7 Scout Mastiff or PK. This past Season 21, we had the weirdest meta with a double AR meta. You were seeing people run primarily, especially in competitive Apex or high level ranked, primarily the Havoc and the Hemlock as the double AR loadout. The Havoc obviously dominated the meta this season. The Havoc has always been very, very strong, but with the nerfs to the SMG class, the Havoc kind of stepped up as the high DPS, really fast, just dominant. You can't really do anything about it when you're getting fried by it kind of weapon. Season 22 is going to bring about some changes to this meta, something that we haven't seen and we've wanted to see for a very, very, very long time. I'm not going to lie. I remember all the way back in Season 3, myself and the homies talking about how dope it would be to see akimbo weapons in Apex. Well, Season 22 has that exact thing. I can't believe I'm saying it, but Apex Legends does in fact have dual wield weapons in Apex Legends, or excuse me, Apex Legends has just added dual wield akimbo weapons in the game, 2 specifically, and it's hilarious because it's 2 guns that are, I would say, a part of the Apex culture. It's 2 of the worst guns in the game. You can argue about the Mozam. Sometimes the Mozam's actually amazing, but the Mozambique and the P2020 are now dual wieldable in Apex. But drum, how is that possible? How does it work? Well, little Jimmy, Timmy, Limmy, and Kimmy. This is how it works. It's very, very simple, to be honest with you. So just to show you, I'm in the range. If I walk up to the Mozam, grab one Mozam. If you look in the bottom right corner, it says equip second Mozambique for akimbo. So I have one right there. I walk up to it again, press E. Now I have both akimbo Mozambiques, and they only take up 1 slot. So I can't have another gun if I want to. Now what happens is when you grab akimbo Mozambiques or even akimbo P20s, they become full automatic. Obviously the Mozam is already full automatic, but when you pick up both of them together, they become full automatic. So if you want to left click only or right trigger, whatever it is on controller, you can hold it and you will spam both together. You do have to reload them together as well. There are 12 shots total, and it's kind of gross. A lot of people may ask, okay, well, what about attachments? One, you can't have sights because there's no point in having sights. It's mainly meant to hip fire, but if you ADS, all it does is tighten the spread. So it does change the animation and tighten the spread a bit. So this is hip firing, and this is what happens when you ADS. So it's definitely possible to use in both manners, but there's no need for a sight because you're not looking down the sight no matter what you do. But you can, for the Mozam, you can in fact put shotgun bolts on them. And you only need 1 shotgun bolt. So if you find 1 shotgun bolt on the ground, it's going to equip to both Mozams no matter what. So you don't have to look for double versions of attachments. But this is the doozy. You can in fact pick up the hammer point rounds. So you can put hammer points on your akimbo Mozam, and it absolutely shreds at close and medium range. I'm not gonna lie, I really think akimbo Mozam is gonna be huge in the meta. Absolutely huge in the meta, especially if you can find hammer points. And what I noticed while playing the base game or playing in Trios Revival and or Straight Shot Revival, and you guys know that since Season 21, when care packages drops, there's the ability to get gold weapons out of the care package, not just care package level weapons, but gold weapons that are fully kitted. And there are in fact spawning in gold Mozams with gold shotgun bolts and hammer points built in that you can pick up. And when you find those things, and the same thing works with the P2020. So if you find a P20, you find 1 and you find 2, you now have both P2020s in your hand at the same time to be akimbo. And the same thing goes with the attachments. You can add every single version of the attachment except for sights, because sights are useless when you're using akimbo, because no matter what, it's only going to change the animation and tighten the spread. And yes, like said before, you can in fact put hammer points on it. Now I'm not gonna lie, my favorite part of akimbo are the animations. The reload animation looks so sick. The reload animation looks so sick. Even the pull-out animation when you're taking them out of your inventory, it looks fire. I'm not gonna lie. Akimbo might just be the meta. The pull-out speed when you're swapping weapons, no matter what your secondary weapon or primary weapon is, it takes a long time for them to come out. So there is a bit of a delay. There was a couple of moments where I'm in a 1v1 where I'm spraying with like a flatline or a car, and I switch to Akimbo Mozams and I die in the process of taking them out because it's a bit of a delay. Like obviously when you're switching between weapons, it doesn't take that long, especially if you have stocks on your weapons, but switching to Akimbo P20 or Akimbo Mozam, it kind of takes the same amount of time of taking two guns at the same time. So there is a bit of a delay there. So you have to be kind of smart about how you use these weapons, especially if you're using them with another weapon in combination. Showing the total damage with a gold mag P20 with hammers. 868. Now with Mozam, a lot. The EVA 8 is out of the care package and back on the ground. It takes the normal attachments plus the boosted loader hop up, so you do get to reload faster when you're down to 3 or less bullets in the EVA. And I will say the EVA back on the ground is pretty strong, but shotguns across the board did get a change. So for the Peacekeeper first, they did in fact remove disruptor rounds from the Peacekeeper. You can no longer put disruptor rounds on the PK, but their whole idea behind another change coming to these shotguns is to make them more consistent. A lot of people, especially myself, are huge shotgun users, but you kind of live and die by them because of their inconsistency and your inconsistency of having the pellets work correctly. In my opinion, I'm not the biggest change of this fan, but I know the majority of the player base will be. I think that there's a skill disparity when using the shotguns, and if you can be really accurate with them, they can make or break fights big time. But obviously there are times when you hit those 9s on the PK or 11 on the Mastiff that you feel like you want to break your monitor in half. So with that, they decided to change the pellet distribution on the shotguns. So as we know, for a long time the PK has had this star pattern. That is no longer a thing. It now has a almost V-like upside down diamond shaped pattern. So what that means is a lot of your shots are going to be a lot more consistent because the pellet spread is a whole lot tighter. You're going to be a lot more consistent with your shots, which means that if you're not the most comfortable player with these shotguns, with the PK specifically, that could change, and you can hit a lot more shots more consistently because that star shape is no longer a thing. So you don't have to worry about only hitting one edge of a pellet, but in fact, instead of, you can hit like a whole corner of the diamond and still do a ton of damage. They also did the same thing with the Mastiff. They tightened the spread of the horizontal pellet spray. So as you can see now, it's a whole lot tighter, close together. All the pellets are hitting very, very close rather than being this really far across straight line, which means you can be a lot more consistent with your shots. You know what that means? It's mouse and keyboard buff season, baby, and for a couple of reasons, but we'll get to that later. Now, I will say, when it came to this early access event, we did not get any patch notes, so all we got was what we were told from the devs directly. So there may be things in the patch notes that come out whenever the season is about to drop that I may have gotten wrong a little bit by values or changes that may occur that I haven't caught on to yet just from playing with my hands on in the game. But there are a couple more things. The Havoc, like I said at the beginning, the Havoc meta has been so dominant in season 21. They did take a look at it, specifically in the hipfire category. It used to be that the 301, the flatline, even the hemlock, the hipfire was disgustingly accurate, but they wanted to make ARs work like ARs and be more focused on the medium to longer ranges, so they nerfed the hell out of the hipfire. Well, they just did the same thing again to the Havoc and nerfed the hipfire, because the hipfire was really strong on the Havoc, especially if you ADS first and un-ADS, so that feels a lot better. You don't feel like you're hitting every single bullet hipfire. A damage tweak just a slight bit would also help, but we'll see how it plays out in the game when we really get our hands on it in season 22. As well as, this is a big one to all my R-301 crutches. You know who you are. So the magazine size for all light ammunition weapons have increased. I know for a fact the values have gone up. Specifically, I covered and looked at the most in detail the R-301. I believe on a purple magazine right now, the R-301 has 28 bullets. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. I'm just coming off the top of my head for you guys. But now purple, gold, so purple level mags for the R-301 have 31 bullets, and that feels really good. I'm not gonna lie, having a purple mag, you can pretty much, obviously on 2 completely standing still targets in the firing range, if you're very accurate, you can pretty much clip both of them in one clip almost on fully red armors. Now, obviously the damage is still taking a big hit for the past couple of seasons. It's still kind of a pea shooter, but now it has a lot more to offer in the game where it doesn't feel as bad because you can shoot for a lot longer. So with the EVA 8 coming out of the care package, that means another weapon has to go into the care package, and that will be my beloved R99. Obviously, recently the R9 took a huge hit, and it's pretty much worthless in the game right now in season 21. It's not very good. at all. Not saying that it's not usable, because it definitely is, but there's just better alternatives at this moment. And so people have picked up the R9 way less and went from probably the most popular SMG in the game to maybe the least most popular SMG between that and the alternator, but the alternator has disruptor rounds, so it's not looking good for the R9. But now it's in the care package and it's really, really good. I did get to use it in an actual game one time and it felt good, but it didn't feel like overpowerfully strong. Like obviously the devotion is a lot better of a care package weapon, the Kraber, the bow check. But if you enjoy using the R9, grabbing this care package R9 does feel very, very good. It kind of feels like a throwback version of the R9 that used to be on the ground that was really, really dominant and really strong. It has 30 bullets in the mag. It does 14 damage to the body and 17 to the head, straight out of the care package, no matter what armor we're talking. So you can one clip people fairly fast and still have a couple of bullets left over. And it's been really, really fun to use. I'm sad to see the R9 not be on the ground. I was really hoping for an R9 buff this season, maybe getting it back in line with stuff like the Volt or the Car or the Prowler, kind of having it in the mix a little bit better. Right now it's such a low tier SMG, but now it's the best SMG in the game because it's a care package weapon. So if you find one and you pick it up, I hope you have a great time with it, because I still love using the R9, and now I can just use a juiced up R9 in the firing range all day long. So that's the vibe. So let me know what you guys think of the brand new weapon meta coming to season 22. This is what we have. This is what we have to work with. The biggest change obviously is the Akimbo Mozambique and the Akimbo P2020. It is very, very fun to use, and I need to know if you guys are excited for this in the comments down below. Do you think it's going to be broken and overpowered, or do you think it's balanced pretty well based off of what you've seen so far? Are you going to use it right away? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, big thanks to EA for allowing me to do this, to bring this to you guys. And let me know if you guys have any comments or concerns down in the comment section too, of anything that you've seen so far, because maybe we can, you know, share that with the devs, because they tell us they read comments too. So you can, if you want to make an impact, it's the best way to do it. Make sure to subscribe right here. We're going hard all season 22, and thanks so much for checking us out. Have a great day.